This week on It's Not Easy Being Green, we've got big ambitions.
We need one of those.
What? Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it?
Lauren Laverne is dressed to impress the eco-fashion world, but gets distracted by the bright colours.
It's £240, but then I'll get in trouble for coming to work and coming home with bags of clothes.
John Kay investigates a growing conflict between the environment and our heritage. How to get green technology on a listed building.
What a view.
And how not to. And kids presenter Sam and Mark are this week's Eco-Test guests. But what do they think about being green?
I don't care. You know, well, I do. Obviously, I care.
Oh,
but
wow.
if you take it,
Mark does not.
no.
At Newhouse Farm, we grow our own and enjoy life eating with the seasons. But James wants figs in February and melons in March.
That is not a green thing.
No, it is a green thing. Obviously, it's a watermelon. But food miles,
Yeah, but-
out of season.
Not good as well. But I think we can get round it using hydroponics.
Whoa, steady. Hydroponics. Water and fertiliser thing.
Well, yeah, cutting out food miles, growing locally, and we can have out-of-season fruit and veg all year round.
Okay, tell me what you need.
Right, basically we need a good sunny position, so
South.
this would
Thank
be
you.
ideal. And then what we're basically looking for is guttering sort of channels that we're going to grow plants in. But we're not going to be using soil, we're going to be using liquid nutrients. And then that is going to get fed around a system.
No soil whatsoever.
It's completely soilless. Just the roots of all the plants have got oxygen and the nutrients, and then they're going to grow.
And we're
up.
just going to set them all out here.
Yeah, but obviously the next thing we need is something to cover them, because we want a good temperature in there.
We've already got a greenhouse.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Look at the shape of this. I have an idea. I have an idea about the greenhouse.
Growing without soil sounds space age. So I think this calls for a trip down the road to the Eden Project, famous for their state-of-the-art growing biomes.
We should have one of these. we
way.
should have one.
joking. It'll take years to build.
It's awesome. I want one.
We've come to meet George Elworthy, who knows just how green these biomes are.
You've chosen this shape. Did you ever think about going conventional glass and sort of...
Glass is too heavy. The structure would have to be much bigger,
Yeah.
more materials,
Yeah.
and not so green. Greenhouse, you have a lot of dead areas where the air is not circulating or heating a bigger space. This can be smaller,
Yeah.
and so you've got greater efficiency
Yeah.
again.
You see, a sphere has got the sort of the biggest volume for the surface area, so you minimise the materials and you've got the biggest volume. So cut it in half, which is hemispherical basically, and you've got as much space as you can possibly get with that surface area. Can't get any more efficient.
Plus this material,
It's like a polytunnel stuff.
Like a polytunnel, much lighter, much stronger than glass. You don't get any breakage, recyclable, so at the end of its life, it can be used again with relatively little waste.
Is there
Sounds pretty good. Plus, it's cool. Let's face it.
There could be some competition, George. There could be some competition. You're going to we're not very far away. I can wait till you see our dome. It won't be long.
In the Garden of Eden, Adam knew a thing or two about what not to wear. And we should give me a few tips. But as he's not here, I'll have to ask Lauren.
The high streets of the UK are stuffed to the gunnels with fashion. Clothes, clothes, and more clothes. But if you care about what you wear, how and where should you shop?
I want fashion, but I want eco-fashion, and I want it now.
You could make your own, of course, from eco-friendly fabrics, naturally, or you, like me, could talk to this lady. Dilys Williams is the director for the Centre for Sustainable Fashion at the London College of Fashion.
Fashion is a huge communicator of who we are. It's a barometer of social change, etc., but it also is about how we feel about ourselves. And over the last 5 or 10 years, the whole move to really cheap fashion has meant that people have just been buying into price tags, buying into something that's celebrity endorsed, instead of actually thinking about their own identity.
Until Until recently, eco-chic hasn't exactly rocked the fashion world, but Dilys believes that can change. Her address book is stuffed full of sustainable styles, movers and shakers, like eco-fashion royalty Orsola de Castro, whose business started quite literally on the factory floor.
The big break for us came with Jigsaw, who were buying our knitwear range, and then they started introducing us to pieces that were either unsold or damaged from their own factories, and they were going to give us some of their old cardigans, and I saw what was going on the floor, and what I wanted was on the floor.
Waste not, want not.
These skirts are perhaps what shows the best the fact that we're recuperating waste, in the sense that the actual pieces that we recuperate are not much bigger than what you actually see here. And they're literally left on the floor at the end of the production from, you know, some very well-known designers from very good, well-known Italian manufacturers.
This one's amazing, because this is so colourful. I mean, how do you work then? You will just literally be in a factory and see that?
Well, this collection is 100% recycled. It has a very low carbon footprint on account of the fact that there's hardly any transport, and is produced by people in a very ethical and socially minded manner.
So here you're managing to take a design...
Sorry, I was just thinking, I want this. Can I buy it?
Sorry, Dilys, didn't mean to interrupt you. The clothing industry in this country produces around 2 million tonnes of waste every year. At Deploy, these guys are trying to make their mark by proving that we need less clothes, but more versatility. And by that, I mean poppers.
Here we are. Oh my goodness.
So where now?
Wow, Stella McCartney. This is my kind of place, Dilys, but why have you brought me here?
This is organic cotton, like you've never seen organic cotton before. As you can tell from the feel of this. You're going to wear this way beyond the season, so on a lot of levels, it is sustainable.
You talk about kind of disposability of clothes, and I see that we can't just keep throwing things away, but at the same time, you know, fashion is about an inherent disposability.
But fashion has been very much about the identity of a time and a place. And I think over the last few years, that identity was about moving fast, about spending loads of money. That era is over, because people are aware now that actually the sustainability of what we were doing was just not possible. And now I think we're in a new era, and it's very much more exciting.
Last stop on our whirlwind tour is Brick Lane in the East End of London, and a second-hand clothes shop.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Right. I feel like I'm at the most intimidating play ever.
Are you the audience or are you on stage?
I'm not quite sure. What's going on?
Dr. Nockie's NHS is what's going on in here.
NHS, that's Nockie's House of Sustainability. He's a guerrilla designer who wears a mask as a stand against celebrity culture and creates sustainable one-off fashion inspired by street art.
The aim in the NHS is to create the one-off. That was my whole mission, was to always use sort of the corporate leftover, make one-off from something that would have been mass-produced. So that's just been a theory running through the whole thing. And
so if I wanted to get Dr. Knockied up, how much would it cost me for an outfit?
Well, we are bespoke generally. T-shirts will range from about £80 up to 180.
They're cool.
Designers like Knockie are rocking the fashion world and getting eco-fashion noticed for all the right reasons.
It's going to make people stop and think. What happens to all of those clothes that are going around the system?
All we need to do now, fellow shoppers, is make sure that the fashion industry knows how much we care about where our clothes come from and how they're made.
Let's not forget, Lauren, you don't have to stick to the high street. You can buy from car boots and charity shops too. Great clothes don't have to cost the earth.
Oh my goodness, sail rail, we've hit the mother lode. Amazing.
Next, our gorgeous new greenhouse. We found one and it's arrived in lots of small pieces.
They're quite complicated shapes, aren't they?
What the? You don't know what you're doing.
This is flat pack from hell. Every single angle and every single face has been specially made, and that's what we need to rest the whole thing on.
Our geodesic dome should be around a third more energy efficient than an ordinary greenhouse. It's got everything going for it. Just as long as when you're building it, you don't lose the will to live.
James, I feel a bit poorly. I'm going to leave this with you and go off for a while now.
No way. I don't like doing levels. I don't really like doing maths. And I don't particularly like angles and tape measures.
Houston, we have a problem. Time to phone the designer.
Paul, it's looking great, mate. We've got bits of geodesic dome all over the garden at the moment. Where do they sit relative to the base? Do we need to put a notch in them? Okay, and can I just say my telepathy didn't work there? How was I supposed to know that? Good man.
We're on a roll.
Ready to receive, Bradley?
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah. Okay, come on, Brad. Okay, understood. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
The Eagle has landed. The neighbours love it, and so do we.
Wow. I think it's an omni-triangulated success.
It does look good, doesn't
Great.
it?
I think everyone's going to want one of these.
Finally, we've got a mini Eden project in our back garden. Will we ever get melons in March? Our future diet rests in the hands of my son. I'm off to meet two people in whose hands rests the future of an entire generation. Two of Britain's most popular children's presenters. Sam and Mark. They're about to take our eco test. But first, here's some profound musings from their adoring fans.
I'm worried about the world because it might explode into tiny little pieces. I would not wear second-hand clothes because they will be very, very smelly. I think you might recycle a bit of a sock if it came off. Yeah, I think you would recycle that. Let me smell my socks. Oh, Ponky. We've got to save the world because we'll get flooded. But not for us because we live on a hill. We're going to drown. We won't have any homes. Don't forget to bring your snorkel.
A lot of weight and responsibility on your shoulders here. All the young people watching you now, do you feel any pressure?
I'm very nervous. Now you've said that, yeah.
Here we go. How often do you eat meat or fish?
I tend to mix it up. Say if I've had something meaty for lunch, I might try and have something maybe fishy for tea.
All right.
Or pasta-based.
I'd say once a day.
Once a day?
Yeah.
Okay, once a day and more than once a day averages to more than once a day. How often do you buy locally produced meat, vegetables and dairy products? Do you think about that?
I don't care, you know. Well, I do. Obviously, I care.
No,
but if you take... what?
Mark does not care.
No.
Oh, I don't know if that's what your machine does, but it felt like it does.
So you can see the meter going on.
I'm going pretty red.
I have grown my own veg this year.
That's true.
Well done.
That is
Good
true.
man.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it?
I loved it.
No, come on, Mark. You must be jealous of this, mate. Look.
I am.
Yeah.
There's no question about
Onions.
it.
Yeah, salad, rocket. Oh,
It goes like a weenus $1.99 for a bag of it in the supermarket. What's that about?
Exactly. No, that's true. It's so true. Get a little pot, put some rocket seeds in it like that, let it grow. Right. Honestly, you'll be saving money.
What kind of vehicle do you travel in, if any? Cars, motorbikes?
I don't own a car, thank you very much.
Don't be shy, Sam.
Yes, I've got
Vehicles?
a car.
Yeah.
And I do drive a lot up north.
Between the two, I'm going to have to put you down as having a car, yeah, because you don't get away with that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In the last 12 months, how many hours have you spent on an airplane travelling in Europe?
I would say...
How many trips? Come on, get it out there.
Coming back as well.
Of course coming back as well.
Yes.
Where do you go?
I went to Greece, Italy. Wow, I've been abroad.
Yeah. You like them there, Miles?
Been to America twice and Australia. I'm in deep trouble.
In fact, how much did you spend on bath and grooming products in the last 12 months?
I have moisturiser, stuff underneath my eyes.
What?
What?
You know when like you have dark circles underneath your eyes?
Sam, do you
mean makeup?
No, not makeup.
What do you mean? Paint
stuff.
then? You put paint under your eyes?
Paint?
So is it makeup then?
No, it's not.
What is it then?
It's like gel to make the dark circles under your eyes like diminish.
There's almost like a coming out thing going on here. What are we talking about, Mark? I'm lost.
I'm going to stop talking now because I think...
But you have a collection of grooming products.
Indeed.
Okay, so
Really?
in the year, how much do you reckon you spend on that?
In the year?
In a year, 12 months.
Over £1,000.
What?
Easily.
Okay.
On weird eye gel paint?
Right, it's doing the calculation.
Oh, no.
It could take some time.
Oh no! It's happened! I can't believe it! Wait!
You've got our future in your hands here. You're the next generation compared to me. 4.65 planets would be needed if everybody lived like the combination of Mark and Sam.
Okay.
I don't quite know what to say to that. I'm
Wow.
flabbergasted.
I'm just going to have to go and
Is
lie
that like
down.
one of the worst scores?
Yes.
Yes, it's the score from hell.
I think you've actually set a new record.
Oh.
So what you're really saying, in a year where I've been on holiday once and Mark's bought £1,000's worth of products, he's pretty bad.
Yeah. So,
I think for me, it's just being a bit lazy, really. Like you've just said, it purely is. I think just things like going behind your back of your telly to switch it off. It can be done. It's easily done. It takes 2 seconds. I'm growing up, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm growing up.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man. Don't patronise me.
Okay.
Now I've got grown-up work to do at Newhouse Farm with my very own little boy, James, and his small but perfectly formed hydroponic scheme.
Lots of hydroponics are very, very chemical-based nutrients and lots of hormones. This is relying, all the stuff that we're going to be using is organic. It is worm castings diluted down. It's fish fertilizer. It's all of that sort of stuff. One of the huge benefits is going to be that we're going to get, this is what they say, 5 times quicker growth rates.
5 times faster just seems ridiculous.
It's amazing. I mean, for people who don't have soil in their gardens, this is a way that you can grow lots and lots of food, higher yields, sort of more growth rates in a smaller area.
James has been nurturing plants for hydroponic rebirth.
Got a chilli.
Oh, thank you.
Strawberries look great. Laura, can we get some of the plants in now?
And they're going to grow 5 times as fast.
5 times as fast.
I'll go have that, yeah.
And hopefully, all of these, the roots are going to be
Look at the size of the roots.
in contact with the nutrients on the bottom and oxygen in the air. Basically, what we need is the right mix of nutrients.
If my lettuce tasted this, it's going to be
lettuce is going to be great.
Yeah.
Now we need to try all of our pipe system and see if we can get some nutrients.
Because he's going to be dead fairly soon.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see if the pump works. Ooh.
The bubbly comes.
I can see a trickle. Yes. Come on.
We're using a solar-powered pump to circulate the nutrient-packed water over the roots of the plants.
Oh, no,
Yeah! That's a good trickle, mate.
Water conservation hydroponics with organic nutrients. Hey, you said, oh, silly idea.
Oh, it hasn't grown yet.
Well, it will.
It hasn't grown yet.
If it works, it could mean year-round salads and fruit without any air miles. Last week at our eco-renovation project in London, Chris and Jay were in hot water for the first time.
Put your hand in there.
Go on, Jay.
It's hot. Look at the steam coming off it.
Thanks to their solar panels and an air source heat pump.
Get your hands in.
They may have hot water, but now they're desperate for the loo. The plan is their toilet cisterns should be supplied by the rainwater tanks. The plumbers have been in, but will they be flushed with success?
You got pipes connected.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, come on. What's this?
So what we have here is the tanks in the ground, and we've got the feed coming from the guttering into the tank, and then we have the other pipe, which will be the pump, pumping the water back into the house.
So you got pipes on that. Oh God, we're gonna have a look.
Let's see how much it's been raining.
Isn't that typical?
Yeah, it's typical. It's awful. Shall I get up the top and...
James, go and be a little wet cloud. This is the beauty of this, of course. What you're going to have here is you're going to have your loos being flushed with water, which is free.
Yeah.
Because everybody else around here is using water that's been processed, it's been pumped, it's been cleaned. Yeah. You could drink it, but instead you pee in it.
Absolutely.
This makes more sense. Come on, mate. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Is it raining?
It's raining.
Hold on.
You can hear it. It's coming.
Right, let's go and have a look, see where it's going to then.
Come on,
Their rainwater harvesting system has cost them around £1,200, but they'll be saving money with every flush.
The loo!
We've worked it out to be about £100 that we're saving every year, which if you work out the payback is about 12 and a half years for us.
Yeah.
But that's only a couple.
For a family of 4, you're talking about 6 years payback time.
Essentially,
That's
yes.
right.
Yeah. Which is not bad, considering after that you're going to have free flushes forever.
You've got it, absolutely.
Okay, come on, go for it, Jay.
Drum roll.
Right, okay, I'm going to press this one.
Yeah!
That's rainwater.
Good stuff!
So the water works. But just look at the rest of the place. There's so much to do.
Cheers.
You've got to love them. They're not scared of hard work. And it's really great that the green project's coming together. They're optimistic they're going to be in soon, but let's face facts. They haven't got a bathroom, they haven't got a kitchen, they haven't got any rooms whatsoever. Will they be in by the end of the series? Don't think so. Newhouse Farm is a listed building. When we first arrived here, we had to put our solar thermal system up on the potting shed, and we put our PV panels up on the outbuilding. The government's very keen for people to generate their own electricity, and you don't need planning permission for solar panels, and it won't be long before you can put up a wind turbine without permission, providing you don't live in a listed building or in a conservation area. Here's John Kay in Planning Hell.
Remember Xana and Arthur from Series 2? They live in one of England's 9,000 conservation areas and failed to get planning permission for their solar panel.
It's just a big sort of slap in the face. You're really sort of going for it and getting excited about what you're achieving, and then this happens, and it's just like, why do you bother?
The planners called it an alien feature.
Well, 2 years on, we've come back to their village in Lincolnshire to see if Xana and Arthur have had any more luck since then. But in the meantime, we've discovered that they're not the only ones to have come up against these problems.
Graham Dobson bought this listed house in Dorset, blissfully unaware that a previous owner had installed the solar panel without planning permission. When he applied for more panels on the roof below, his green world collapsed.
I included some photographs in the planning application, which included the solar panel.
And that was your big mistake?
And that was my downfall.
West Dorset Council said the panel formed a visually incongruous feature and it harmed the historic character of the building. They told him to take it down or face a fine of up to £20,000. So what did his neighbours think? After all, it had been there for 17 years.
We think it's something that we would like to have ourselves.
You'd have one too?
Yes, if we can afford it.
Well, I know that it's a useful gadget, and I'd have no complaints about it.
It does look a bit of an eyesore, I suppose. So what's the people next door complaining about it?
No, nobody's complained.
No.
Nobody's ever complained.
Well, it should stay, isn't it?
Maybe you need a Neo-Georgian solar panel. Maybe that's what we should design, something like that, with little columns and...
Well, there could be a niche in the market for that, shouldn't there? But I think that every building should have PV or solar panels fitted now. I mean, what's more important, our life on this planet or a historical monument?
But now it seems it's going to have to come down. And you know what? This whole thing makes you wonder just how joined up government really is. You've got one branch of officials saying things like this have got to come down. Then you've got another group saying we should be doing more of this kind of thing to our homes.
Even the Conservative Party leader has fallen foul of that heritage versus environment debate. David Cameron had to take his wind turbine down, but some of his neighbours were delighted.
It did not look nice. It did not fit into this landscape out here, which is a beautiful Edwardian conservation area.
But there are people across the country
who live in conservation areas, who want to do something to make the world a better place, to produce their own energy, to use the wind or the sun, and they're just trying to do something good.
Trying to do something good. They're not saving the planet. It might make...
It's a start, isn't it?
It's not a start.
If more and more of us did it, and we use more of that wind, together we could change the world.
Do you know, individuals do it and they probably do feel very, very good about it. But most of us, the vast majority of us, haven't got the money, the thousands of pounds it takes to put up a wind turbine.
The best way to get that eco-gadget past the planners is to hide it.
What a view!
That's exactly what the National Trust has done here at Dunster Castle in Somerset.
The panels are not visible unless you're perhaps flying past in a helicopter. Many of our sites are affected by climate change, so it's in our own interest to cut down our own impact on the environment.
Basically, you've got a much better chance of getting your application past the planning authorities if you can hide those panels from view. If you can't, you could have a real battle on your hands.
Back in Lincolnshire, Zana and Arthur did fight, and they won, with the help of a charity called Planning Aid, who transformed their original application.
We'd written all this document and they basically put it in a really cohesive, efficient sort of way that had all the technical language, referred to all the policies, and that helped us get it.
You know, two neighbours both ways writing really amazing letters of support.
Yeah. So nothing had changed in council policy or government policy in the intervening time?
No.
I bet you couldn't believe it when you got the letter through the post saying, yes, you can.
And you can get it because it actually supports these policies, and you're thinking, well, you refused it on those policies. It didn't make any sense.
So what do you think? Is this just the way our buildings are evolving, or are we damaging our heritage? Go to bbc.co.uk/blue.
Throughout the long, cold winter, James has been caring for his plants night and day. He's kept the results of his hydroponic scheme firmly under wraps until today.
How are we doing? What is that? I was expecting bigger.
Yeah, so was I, to be honest.
Bonsai vegetables, mate.
Yeah.
What went wrong?
Well, I think it's just too cold in here. The system, like all of the hydroponics, is working really well. But because it's so cold and we've had frost and ice,
quite nice.
The vegetables haven't grown as quickly as I hoped.
Is it heat or is it light? Because is this going to make a difference?
This has been making a great difference. Just got it recently, and it's sort of representing summer light hours, and I think there's been a small improvement.
It doesn't look very low energy.
It is. It's a giant energy-saving bulb.
Okay, where's the power coming from?
Well, from the photovoltaic panels on your big roof.
You're stealing my electricity?
Yeah, but only for a couple of hours a day.
Okay, so what do we need for next year, mate?
Basically, we need some form of insulation in here that lets the light in, and then maybe biodiesel, paraffin heater, or a greenhouse.
Right, you need heat. We need
heat.
Okay.
Over spring and summer, I think there's going to be huge amounts growing in here. But for next winter, I want strawberries at December. Yeah.
Oh dear, son.
Next year.
Is that a promise?
Next week, we'll be lifting our spirits with a lot of homebrew.
There's bubbles.
And Jilly Goulden is sharpening her tongue.
Yeah.
Or is it her nails?
It smells a tiny bit like nail polish remover, which is never a great sign.
Toby's on top of the world in South Wales, checking out a new eco-holiday home. And Lauren demonstrates her local park is good enough to eat.
It's my first time ever eating a bit of hedge.
Cheers. See you next week.
What would you do with a piece of salmon to secure your place in the quarter-final? MasterChef is next on BBC Two.